It has been famously said, at least one of two major factors for the downfall of the Confederacy. There was a general whose name escapes me at this time, but he was a Confederate general who saw with his own eyes that, as he put it, if there were to be a death of the Confederacy, it would be states' rights. Well, there's also another saying, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Why am I bringing this up? Because when you then start factoring in states' rights in today's world, in the Union, such as it is, uh, you're finding that what's really going to complicate this topic even more is that, where we can make tighter laws, but there are states that can then bypass those laws, that can ease those laws. Don't believe me? Well, let's talk about 7 states that have eased gun laws. Some states allow guns in schools, churches, or hospitals. Americans have seen mass shootings take place within their borders for decades, but 5 of the deadliest, 11 occurring in the past 5 years, a time when several states have eased their gun laws. ProPublica reports a few examples of how gun laws have been loosened. Packing heat on campus. In 2012, Colorado allowed students and workers with permits to carry guns at the University of Colorado, and Oregon made a similar ruling for its university system in 2011. Wisconsin, Mississippi, Utah, and several have issued similar versions of campus gun laws. Oh, here's one of my favorites. Guns in gun-free zones. Michigan passed a law last week allowing concealed weapons in various gun-free zones, including hospitals, churches. Oh yeah, because it's not like we've seen a rise, or at least we've seen some things like, oh, I don't know, church shootings. No, no. Daycare centers. Because, yeah, I really want to drop my kid off with somebody for reasons that I'll get into later on in this series, with somebody who's packing heat at my son's daycare. I'm sorry. No. And bars. Because, yes, alcohol and guns just mix so well. Gotta love these state laws, right? Guns have already been allowed in bars in Idaho, Virginia, Georgia, Arizona, and Tennessee. Virginia, Louisiana, and Maine allow them in state parks because nothing says fun like having a concealed weapon in a state park. Yeah, I feel safer already. Not that I'm afraid of gunmen, but I digress. You can be drunk and under 18 and carry a weapon. Mississippi allows a drunk person to handle or fire a weapon in cases of self-defense. Oh yeah, like that stand your ground law that is just so wonderful right now, right? And some states back a federal law requiring a gun purchaser to be 18, including Vermont, Maine, Alaska, Minnesota, and New York. In Montana, you can buy one at 14. Wonderful. Your gun, your business. Florida made it illegal in 2011 for a healthcare professional to ask patients about their guns, but a federal judge struck down the law. Alabama and North Carolina have followed suit by introducing similar legislation. Gun rights for felons. Now, this is one where I'm going to actually be very divergent because I'm going to talk about this topic. Gun rights for felons. 11 states allow non-violent felons to have their own gun rights restored, and a few other states do the same for violent felons, according to New York's story last year. Now, I will link you down to, that's link number 1 down in the underbar. Now, why did I say that I wanted to talk about this last one? Simple. Because this talks a lot about, and you might think it's a small thing, I don't. This talks a lot about our treatment of people post-jail. Do I have an issue with somebody who is a felon, but a non-violent felon, someone who has no history of violence, having a gun? No. Why should I? If they can get out and they can be law-abiding citizens, which there is research to show such things are possible, because just because somebody makes one mistake in their life or two mistakes in their life doesn't mean that they don't have morality. Look at Denmark and how the fact that most of the people who are armed in Denmark are gang members. But guess who these gang members are shooting at? By and large, not other citizens who are unarmed. No, they are by and large shooting at each other. Just because they're criminal thugs doesn't mean that they don't have a sense of morality, that they cannot be on some level, or even on what we would consider a regular level, a good person. I don't have an issue about the nonviolent offenders getting the guns because I don't see an issue there. Treating somebody like a human being when they've been rehabilitated, treating somebody like a human being post-jail, unless they demonstrate that they are not rehabilitated. In other words, you know, this isn't, we've got to get away to some degree from this paranoia. Oh, you've stepped outside the bounds of the law at one point in your life. I must remind you of this. I must continue to punish you despite how big, bad, big, small, or severe or non-severe your crime was. You're a criminal. Once a criminal, always a criminal. I'm sorry. This is a piece of the puzzle, a piece of the problem. If you're worried that the felon is then going to rob somebody because they may have done it in their past, what are we as a society doing to prevent this once they've served their time? Once they have gone through rehabilitation, are we willing to recognize that they can be rehabilitated? No, by and large not. Are we willing to give them jobs, give them second chances, give them the tools that they need to succeed as a good law-abiding citizen? By and large, no. No, we restrict where they live, who they can marry in certain cases, how they can conduct themselves, if they can even get a job post-jail, because, oh no, these people are trash, they're scum. Again, once a criminal, apparently always a criminal. Can you see where this is a problem? Can you see where if we treat them as criminals, what's to stop them from eventually just going back to that life? Because at least if you're going to punish them like a criminal, they might as well do the crime that you all suspect that they're probably going to be doing, despite the fact that there's no evidence to suggest that with proper care, with a good job, with rehabilitation, with good friends, family, and relationships, that these people would ever have a reason to go back to crime. In other words, when you have everything to lose by going back to crime, you're typically not going to go back to crime because people are not black and white. You're not either a criminal or a non-criminal. How many of you have done one transgression in your life? I stole from a general store when I was young, and I paid dearly for it. Not went to jail, but I never wanted to do or steal anything anymore in my life because I was punished. I did my time. For the most part, most people in that community then just forgave and forgot. But we as a society, we don't live by that rules. Once you're a felon, we got to keep your eye on you. We want you on a registry. We want you on all sorts of things so that we can track your every movement because we're suspicious of you. You're capable of a crime once, right? Therefore, you must be always able or wanting to do a crime. Because, yeah, that's how human beings work. Except, oh yeah, that's right, it's not how they work. But it's not just states' rights that's the problem. It's also our attitudes, as I will discuss in our next video.